Floyd Money Mayweather is not a politician. He's a professional boxer. You asked him a question, you know, he may not have that kind of conscience. Lil Wayne made news the other day. That wasn't pleasant to watch. It wasn't pleasant to watch. He came across really, really bad, which is why he ultimately apologized. But you went to a musician who's had his issues, self-admittedly, with drugs and alcohol, and you're gonna throw a camera in his face and ask him to be a conscientious observer who's articulating and elocuting thoughts about stuff that goes far deeper than he may have been ready to go at that particular moment in time. And we as black people, we want to go to hell off instead of stopping, pausing, and saying, why was the camera in their face for such an issue in the first place? Leave them alone. How come you didn't ask President Obama? How come you didn't ask senators and congressmen and women on Capitol Hill, the Maxine Waters, the Cory Bookers of the world? How come you didn't roll up on Stephen A. like you brothers did and ask that question? What about my man Michael Smith? What about my girl Jamel Hill? What about my man Bomani Jones at ESPN? What about Jamie Dukes, primetime Deion Sanders? Brothers who are known for communicating and articulating their thoughts. What about my man Mark Lamont Hill, my brother? What about my man Dr. Michael Eric Dyson? What about the great Joe Madison, who hosts a show on Sirius XM every weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Urban View channel? What about my girl Karen Hunter, who's a Pulitzer Prize winner that got a show on in the afternoon going up against a guy that I know well in Sean Hannity? What about those? There are so many intelligent, accomplished, conscientious black people that folks can go to all the time. But you don't go to a dude that got a history with drugs and alcohol and not necessarily being that conscientious, or a boxer who's worth more than $500 million, possibly $1 billion, whose vantage point and viewpoint is unquestionably different than where most of us is coming from. And then we gonna condemn them? Come on, man, cut those brothers some slack. I don't like what they said. I don't approve of it. I don't agree with it. But I'm not gonna engage in condemnation because they're expressing themselves in a different opinion than our own, because they're living in a different world.
And that's what they want us to do at the end of the day.
And it's not requiring them to be as conscientious as it's requiring us to be. Let's be smarter than that and make sure that we don't judge people for being different than ourselves and thinking different than ourselves, when at this point in time in their lives, for whatever reason, they may be exposed to something completely different than what we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's crabs in the basket, fellas. That's the world using us as an excuse to go at one another. And then some people
already know what it is. It's Barbershop Conversations. Hit the subscribe and the like button today.